Hey guys, Telltale Games has finally released their first episode of the second season of The Walking Dead. The episode, entitled All That Remains, takes place primarily 2 years after the events that concluded the first season. But does the first episode deliver the magic that gave the first season so many Game of the Year awards? Well, the short answer is no, not even close. But it's still an enjoyable game. It might be unfair to compare the two seasons because the first season was so brilliant. But this episode's biggest issue is that it failed to deliver on a solid plot that grabbed my attention. And then, of course, the technical issues such as major drops in frame rates are really inexcusable, especially for a franchise with this many games under its belt. Alright, so the story opens a few months after the tragedy with Lee at the end of the first season. And right off the bat, you experience a suspenseful opening moment in a public restroom, and it's easily the highlight of the episode for me. This beginning really serves no other purpose other than to give you an early thrill, but it does demonstrate just how dangerous a post-apocalyptic world really is. From there, you're going to skip forward approximately 16 months, which is going to take you to 2 years from the end of season 1. And it is then that you, as Clementine, find yourself out in the world alone. You get another sense of just how empty the world is, while at the same time how dangerous it can be. The game does do a great job of showing you, without really using any dialogue, at how important being in a good group really is. Those who travel the land alone don't have much of a chance with the danger of the elements, starvation, and of course the zombies themselves. You're not even safe from man's best friend, and in this case, it's a dog named Sam. In a great moment in the episode, Clem comes to an abandoned camp in the hopes of finding some food. This is where she finds Sam, and there's some great moments between you and your new canine friend, but things do go bad for our young hero, and she's left out in the middle of nowhere, alone, and with a life-threatening injury. Clementine is basically about to die, of course. But that is until two random strangers named Luke and Pete come to your rescue. And this is the point where I felt the game went from very good to mediocre at best. You're taken back to a house where you meet a group of survivors, conveniently with one of them being a doctor. Honestly, I had flashbacks to the second season of the television show, if you guys remember that, The Farm. The rest of the episode essentially just becomes a quest to repair your injury yourself with a group of strangers that doubt the cause of your injury. It's the classic Three's Company misunderstanding story. Maybe dating myself there. But this is essentially where the game stumbles in my mind. This new group of strangers appear to be the people that you're going to spend the rest of the season with, but the episode fails to allow the player to make any real connection to most of them. There aren't many optional conversations that allow you to learn more about the people like there were in the first episode of the first season. Other than the fact that it's safer in a group with numbers, are these the people I really want watching over my beloved Clementine? Who are these people? What is their backstory? Should we even care about them? These are answers that I'm sure Telltale will go further into, but it would have been nice to get that out of the way in the first episode, even if it meant increasing the length of the gameplay by 30 minutes, which would take it to an even 2 hours. There's definitely a major lack of character development there. You're only given a tiny bit of information on each of these new strangers that you've met. In the end, Clementine is the only person with whom we, as players, care about at this point. But the episode does end with you going out with Nick and Pete in a hunt, and in those final moments, they did reveal the name of a person who may be responsible for what you discover, but you aren't really given a reason to care other than the small connection to an event that happens earlier in the episode. The episode ends without a real threat of danger and did an absolutely horrible job of providing an exciting cliffhanger that would make me want more. 20% of Season 2 has been put out, and we really don't know what the journey is yet, where we going or what we're doing. There are certainly small clues about what's to come, but it's certainly not as engaging as the long journey we had in the first season to go out and find Clem's parents. And that's a quest that we were presented with right off the bat last season. Again, it's not fair to compare the two seasons, especially with just a single episode out. But it's starting off slower than I would have liked. Right now we're wading through a puddle of mediocre plot lines that really need to get better and in a hurry. But I have great faith that when we look at the second season as a whole, once it's fully out, instead of just a single part, that we'll probably end up enjoying this. There were some great things in this episode. There's that opening sequence I mentioned right off the top, which plays on several emotions, ranging from fear to sadness. It was really well done. And then the scene at that abandoned camp, where you see a family photo of complete strangers with whom you have never met, and Clementine's enjoyment with Sam at the same spot, which allowed her to feel a brief moment of normalcy, something we really hadn't seen from her even in the first season. The scene with Clementine taking care of her wound is among one of the most disturbing things I had to watch in any video game. And then, of course, there's several touching callbacks to the people and events from the first season that was very well played. I like how they integrated those into the episode. And then even with some of the technical issues, such as the occasional frame rate issues, the game, the scenery, and all the artwork is really beautiful. There are even a few great quotable lines of dialogue.
I'm still not bitten. Whose baby is it?
Excuse me?
If it's not Alvin's, whose is it?
You shut your fucking mouth.
The one thing that Telltale definitely dropped the ball on is not releasing this on the PS4 or the Xbox One. So, what am I missing? Oh, right. It wouldn't be a PS4 trophies review without mentioning the trophies in the game. There will not be a platinum trophy, as each of the episodes have their own small handful of trophies with each release. The inevitable retail disc version will most likely include all the trophies plus the platinum trophy, which is great for us trophy hunters out there. You can essentially double dip. And as for the individual trophies themselves, well, they fucking suck. All the trophies are story related and can't be missed, which is just lazy effort on the part of the developers. To get all the trophies, you just simply have to finish the game. That's it. 0 calories were burned trying to come up with an interesting and engaging list of trophies. A major disappointment. At least 400 Days had clever trophies that did require me to replay certain parts of the game to earn them. This one, I have no reason to replay the game. And I believe Telltale, you can do much better than this. So is this game worth buying? Yes it is. Telltale games certainly have a history of hits and misses in their catalog, but the previous season of The Walking Dead was great. And there's no reason to think that this won't eventually become great, but it's just not there yet. It's also time that they ditch whatever engine they're using. Just the frame rate issues were just horrendous. But you and I want to see how Clementine's story ends. And for that, it's definitely worth buying. I think in the end, it's going to pay off. It's just not there yet. If you want to wait on this and see how the reviews for the next couple episodes are, feel free. But you're definitely not going to regret the purchase. My biggest fear is that the game follows the same fate of the first 2 seasons of the television show, where the first season was fantastic, but the second season was awful. So, in the end, what is my final score? Well, I'm going to give The Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 1, a 7. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and hit that subscribe button for more great videos from PS4 Trophies.